Welcome back. We sure hope that you are enjoying the show right here on Aifajiri, only on K24. Our social media platforms haven't changed. We are at K24TV on Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter. We appreciate your feedback. Continue to interact with us, and of course, tell us, some of the comments or even some of the questions that you may have about our ongoing discussions. Now, of course, this being a Wednesday, it is Wellness Wednesday, and this time around, we are talking about the learning disorder that is characterized by difficulty in reading. The term is dyslexia, and we are going to be talking about the causes of it, how it's diagnosed, and how you can actually spot these early signs in your young ones. Nicholas Ndungu, who's actually at the center of our panel today, who is a student at KCCL, actually in year 9, and of course his mother, the lovely Miriam Kungu, is actually here with us in studio. Esther Waithera, who is the principal of the Kenya Community Center for Learning, a school for special needs children. So I do want to welcome you, Karibu sana, Esther, Nicholas, and Miriam.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so there are some celebrities, by the way, who have overcome dyslexia. People like American actor Jay Leno, Tom Cruise has actually been an advocate about dyslexia, as well as Whoopi Goldberg. And as we continue this discussion, we're going to be finding out how even as individuals or as people who are probably going through this particular disorder, if there is hope at the end of the day. And I believe that Nicholas is actually here to share his story with us and show us that yes, you can do this. Today, how are you feeling being here? Good. Okay, yes, everybody from class can see you this morning. But let's talk about that period in your life before you joined KCCL, right? How did you feel as a student in class, not being able to keep up with everybody else?
I felt bad.
Yeah.
I can keep up. It was, my heart was feeling bad. So. And I tried my best to keep up with other people, but some of them said, you can't do this, you can't do that. But in my own ways, I can do many things in my own way. If I practice and practice, yeah.
Okay, and were you being treated differently in school? Did your classmates make fun of you? Did the teachers more or less feel like you're too much work?
Yes, in other school they always do that. They said they don't know how to write, read, and it makes me to feel bad. And when I joined KCCL, all the students are they're equal, and they try their best. Yeah.
Okay. And so how did that make you feel as well, Miriam? Because you can imagine, even now that we've just gone through examination period, the grading of students, I can imagine it was a tough time for Nicholas to actually score the marks. At that particular time, even if he was quite young, they still had their assessment tests going on.
Actually, I stayed on up to around 9 years or 8 years. I stayed in the regular schools, them. And he was always kind of last. Of course, he was last, and not last, just last of last. And many times he'd come home and tell me, Mom, children are saying I'm last. He actually didn't realize he was last. And if the grading is done and the paper is pinned on the notice board, he didn't realize that being his name on at the bottom means he's last. So he kept telling me, oh, kids are saying I'm last, is it true? So I said, you could be not really, maybe you may not have performed very well, but you can still try it. So it kept me, it made me feel a little bit down, and I was not able to face it for many years. I didn't accept really that he was not going to perform very well, because every parent, it started very early when he was still a child, like when he was about 2 years or so, or even 1 year. I expected him to be talking. Then there was this delayed milestones. as I was told.
Yeah.
He took so long to talk, and by the age of 3, going to 5, after speech therapy is when we were able to develop some speech in him. And then, because it took so long to develop speech, when he went to school, he was already in school by 3 years, the preschool. So reading really was not something that was given priority, but speech was more given priority. Yeah. And as he went to preschool, it was the teachers, actually, even myself, I didn't at first realize, the teachers from the school he went to before he joined the school we are in now, were able to tell me that there was something that was taking him much longer to be able to write or read, and it was taking longer for him to pick instructions from the teachers. Yeah. And then also, by then, he was also quite active. I would say maybe a bit hyperactive. Yeah. And so I realized quite early, personally. And it's been a long journey with him.
It's been a long journey.
Yeah. It feels like when the kids get to school, you want them on top of the class because the grading is real. And when it doesn't happen, you keep wondering, is it something we can cure? Is something I'm doing wrong as a parent?
Esther and Nicholas, let's go to the other side, and you can show us some of the aids that you use, because I think this is quite helpful in letting our viewers know that this is what educators use in terms of determining or diagnosing someone who has a learning disorder. So I can see you've got some placards with letters on them.
Yes.
And you've got, what's in here?
These are magnetic letters.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then what's this?
We call these are tiles.
Yeah.
They're also used to teach what we call phonemic awareness. Okay. Yes, because the hallmark of dyslexia is a lack of what we call phonemic awareness. So in simple terms, what that means is that persons or children with dyslexia struggle with reading. Okay. But if you ask yourself, what is reading? Yeah. Reading, language is a code. Right. So for you to decode it, that is now the whole reading process. So it starts from the sounds. Okay. So what we have here. So somebody would call these letters. Yes, they are letters, but we map these letters into what we call sounds. Yes. So for persons or children with dyslexia, they may be able to identify the letters, but they may not be able to tell what sounds those letters from. Okay. Because when we are reading, we use sounds. For those of us that are old school, we learn the letters, the ABC. Yes. And it's by God's grace that we are able to read. Right. Otherwise, that's the wrong approach to teach reading, because we are supposed now to teach what we call phonetics, or the sounds. Right, that's true. And so what happens is that for children with dyslexia, they have weak awareness of how language works in terms of words are made up of sounds. Right. Those are the building blocks. Okay. So if it's the word cat, or if maybe we have the word, or even bam, or hard,
okay, or ham, yes, H-A-M, I think, we can start with that.
Yes, so ham.
Okay, do you want me to help you put
yes,
them up?
yes, please.
Okay, so we have to hold them up this way.
Absolutely.
So that I don't see how my director can actually see.
Yes.
So have I held them up well?
Yes, you have. Okay. Yes, and if you can see, we have different colors in the placards. Yeah. So the blue represents the vowels. Okay. Then the pink are the consonants.
Oh wow! So even the color is significant.
It is very significant, and color coding is very important for children with dyslexia. So that is one strategy that we help them to differentiate the vowels from the consonants.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So I'll ask Nicholas to identify our sounds. Yes. So what sound is this? Very good, Nicholas. And what sound is this? Very good. And what sound is this? Okay, very good. So now we want you to read this word.
Right. As one word.
So yes, so he's now going to do what we call decoding. So Nicholas, so read now that.
All right. Okay, let me move to this side.
Yes.
And then now we can actually.
So what word do we have there? Ham. Very good. Right. Very good. So we are going to replace this with this. Okay. So what word do we have there? Sam. Very good. So we replace this with this. And so what word do we have? Surf. So viewers, you realize that we have no word like surf.
Yes.
But again, because we are teaching phonemic awareness,
yes.
we use what we call nonsense words as well. Those are made up words.
Yes.
Because we don't want, we want to know whether the child is reading by memory. Probably they have come across these words,
right.
they have visualized them, they have crammed them, and so they are able to read.
Right.
But when you bring in made up words or
yes.
nonsense words that they have not come across,
right.
and they are still able to decode,
right.
that tells you that the child has their phonemic awareness, or they have the knowledge of how sounds work
right.
in words.
Wow.
However, this may be a bit simple.
Yes.
We also have, in most cases, even when we are doing assessment,
yeah.
you realize that most of the children will have already identified, they are able to recognize
yes.
the individual sounds, maybe the simple three-letter words,
yes.
but now when we come to the longer words, what we call words with more than one syllable,
right.
maybe 2 to 3 syllables,
yeah.
or what we call the sight words. Sight words do not follow the spelling
right.
rules. So the child has to read them by sight, not decoding,
right.
not breaking sound
right.
by sound.
Okay.
So again, those are words that the students really experience difficulties in.
I can imagine.
So the assessment process, or
okay.
even if it's just a basic screening, so we look at the knowledge of sounds,
right.
letter, sounds association.
Yes.
Is the child able to recognize the letters and the sounds the letters make? Is the child able to blend in those sounds to be able to read?
Yes.
Is the child able to again use those words and identify the meaning of the words? Because language is a system.
Yes.
Right from the identification of the sounds, being able to read, then attaching meaning to the words that they are reading, then using those readings in a sentence to make sentences that are grammatically correct, and sentences, of course, that make sense.
That's true.
Then after that, now we go to the paragraphs, we go to the passages. So that whole process is what is a big challenge for children with dyslexia.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Let's sit over there real quick as we wrap up our interview. Thank you for showing us how you go about your assessment. That's quite a very easy and simple assessment done just to see whether children actually, you said phonetically aware.
Absolutely.
I got it right, phonetically aware.
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, can you actually tell us what are the causes of dyslexia, if there really are any?
Well, there's no known cause for dyslexia as of now, but we have what we call risk factors. So we've got several risk factors that have been associated with dyslexia. So, and again, we have different types of dyslexia, with the main one being the primary dyslexia. So the primary dyslexia is hereditary. So the risk factor there is genetic. And so children whose family members have dyslexia are highly predisposed to dyslexia. So it could be a parent, it could be a brother, and it doesn't even have to be an immediate member of the family. It could be a great grand uncle or grandfather along the family tree. So that predisposes a child to dyslexia. So that is one risk factor. We also have environmental factors. So probably maybe when the mother is pregnant, if they're exposed to some substances, that could alter, again, the development of what we call the temporal lobe. And that's the lobe in the brain that controls the language. So that, again, is a risk factor. But the main one being the genetic factor, because dyslexia is highly hereditary.
Nicholas, what do you have to say to those who look down upon students like yourself? What would you like to tell them?
I like to tell them to just read, and read, and if you read, you're going to get better and improve your language and your understanding. And who has dyslexia, just try your best and don't give up. And remember, God is with you.
Amen to that. Anything you like to do in particular? You like to play? You have a...
I like to play golf, drums, and All instruments.
All instruments. Well, all the best, Nicholas. Congratulations for making it this far. Thank you so much, Miriam, for sharing your story and even coming with your handsome boy here with the studio to share his story. And a big thank you to you, Esther Waidera, the principal of the Kenya Community Center for Learning.